Right, so Labour launched their local election campaign in Swindon yesterday, and, well, the enthusiasm for Team Keith was palpable if you compare images of his launch with the last time Jeremy Corbyn happened to visit the same place. Why the stage, Keith? What's with the white lines as well? So few people showing up, you had to engineer it that way so the eye got drawn to you? Doesn't make you any more interesting, Sunshine, especially when people heard the absolutely monumental drivel that formed your flagship local election pledge, a pledge that should be treated like any other pledge he's ever made, frankly, and that is as a pack of lies. Starmer and his team must have done a quick 5-minute scribble on the back of a fag packet, bit of a brainstorm over what they thought appealed to people at local election level, and the only local election issue they seemed able to come up with was on council tax. Labour's big money pledge here is to freeze council tax, so we all feel better off. Not the same as actually being better off, of course, but they also said that we would be that too. Councils do, of course, decide how much they increase council tax each year. So Starmer clearly thought, well, this has got to be a winner then. A couple of issues here, though, quite big ones, Keith. For one, councils decide on council tax changes in February. They've already done it. They're going up pretty much everywhere to varying degrees next month, with 75% of councils across the UK increasing council tax by the maximum 5%, and just 6 councils in this country are actually freezing it themselves. Embarrassingly for Starmer, 4 of those are Tory run, and 1 is Tower Hamlets, who sent you lot packing for deselecting their Labour mayor. He stood for his own Aspire party afterwards and beat you, didn't he? Now he's outplaying you politically on this as well. Not that that's anything particularly surprising when it comes to Keir Starmer. Literally the month before these local elections take place, council tax is going to go up. And you're telling people that they're going to see their council tax frozen right after it's gone up as your big campaign message if they vote for you in these local elections. Round of applause for Starmer, you clueless melon. The second point is if you wanted to stop council tax rising at all, i.e. prevent councils around this country from raising it, you need to be empowered to do that, and you're not. There will almost certainly be another set of local elections either before or at the same time as the next general election. So, as you have so often said in the past, fella, as far as such promises would go, now is not the time. So, you can pledge that Labour councils will freeze council taxes next February, perhaps, which is not much of a comfort to people now, and you can promise to freeze it if you reach power, but that's a bit off, a big if in and of itself, and likely well over a year away. This is really, really meaningless stuff. Of course, if inflation is still rising by that point, a freeze on council tax will still be a rise. Where's your incentive for people to vote for you then? If people can't afford their bills under a Tory government, not being able to afford them under you either, thanks to just freezing those same bills, is hardly a sound strategy, is it? What's the point? If wages aren't keeping pace and the government can announce as many forecasts and projections as it likes on inflation coming down and such things, but if people are feeling pain now and promises of things getting better are all you offer without substantiation, they don't mean much until it's felt in people's pocket. Food prices are still rising now, still showing no signs of slowing. This council tax pledge, even if you were capable of delivering it, will not help people right now. What if councils can't afford to take a freeze? Inflation hits them too, does it not? Well, Rachel Reeves has trotted out the line that it'll be paid for by that windfall tax on energy firms that Labour repeatedly keeps saying will pay for this, that and the other. First off, taxation doesn't pay for anything. That is just continuity Thatcher speak. And you'll know how much Starmer admires her if you've seen another of my recent videos. Go and watch that if you're not aware, but finish this one first, obviously. Taxation simply offsets government spending so as to control inflation, they reckon, as well as not devalue our currency. We don't have to wait for tax to be collected for the government to pay for stuff after all, do we? Think about it. Anyway, aside from the taxation doesn't pay for stuff issue, Reeves has said this windfall tax will pay for all manner of other things already, so will there be any left for them to pay for this council tax freeze as well? Perhaps Starmer means he's going to retrospectively cancel council tax rises in Labour areas. He likes retrospectively banning people. Perhaps he can retrospectively ban a council tax rise. Labour aren't in power to deliver Reeves's much vaunted windfall tax to pay for that, of course. Again, Starmer's Labour treating people like idiots. But these rises are also legally binding once passed by councils. Would you be ordering Labour councillors, in which case, to vote to undo them then? And would that even be legal? Would you be threatening them with the purge, Stalin style, as you have so many Labour candidates up and down the country, if they don't do as ordered? Do as I say, even if it's breaking the law. Is that where you're going, Mr. Human Rights Barrister, Mr. Lawman? Of course, if this had been adequately foreplanned, had Labour really been putting the work in on these elections already, hark back to my back of a fag packet comment at the start of this, why didn't they tell councils they control back in February to not increase council tax then? This, Labour's first local election announcement, their key pledge. And it's a total afterthought. It hasn't been thought through at all. Perhaps if Starmer and Co spent more time on planning for government and less time attacking and persecuting their own left wing, driving members away, driving candidates out, obsessing over Jeremy Corbyn, they might actually get somewhere. Functionally, Labour are not in national power, so they can't freeze your council tax. Bearing in mind all the hypothetical explanations I've gone over for this, Labour are not promising to freeze council tax next year. They're promising to freeze it this year. But given it won't rise again until at least next February, how much of an insult is this to ordinary people? How stupid do you think we are? We know it has already just gone up. We know we're getting higher council tax bills from next month. You're literally not promising anything in this. What Starmer's Labour are promising you is basically, if we were in power, we'd offer you the same council tax you couldn't afford last year. But given we aren't in power, actually what we're offering you is even less than that, amounting to an absolutely colossal amount of sod all. A meaningless pledge from a meaningless Labour leader and his parliamentary drones, which becomes an outright lie when he says it would put more money in your pockets. But then outright lies and deceit have come to define Starmer's tenure as Labour leader, and that won't change either until he's gone. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated this video, please do hit like and subscribe, leave a comment and hit the notification bell too so you don't miss the next one. Also look out for me on social media and other interesting stuff by clicking on the Linktree link in the comments below. And I will see you next time. Cheers, folks.